Valuation Tutor is an interactive and practical way to teach financial statement analysis and also intrinsic value models. It starts showing you how to access company filings. It tells you what data is available. It provides an easy way to access and extract the data and then takes you through the analysis. It comes with a pre-prepared data set of over 1,000 companies. So you can study those companies without having to go through the data extraction yourself, but you can certainly use it to compare the data to the actual filings. And then it takes you through the analysis. It's got a full textbook on financial statement analysis and valuation. When you launch it, you see this screen, and you can start by accessing SEC filings. What we do is we make use of the filings that are done in the new interactive format of the SEC, and make all of these available to you. The latest filings are always available as long as they're in the format. The SEC started requiring companies to file in this way in 2009, though actually the first filings were done a little later than that. And in June of 2011, everyone is required to file in this way. So the data set is going to get enormously much larger as time goes on. So anyway, let me show you how you access SEC filings. So I do this, and when you launch the viewer, you will see a on the left panel the actual filings, and on the right panel our textbook. It also has this tab called the data collector that I'll go through with you in just a minute. Over here you see all the companies. So these are all the different companies that have filed in this format. For each company, you can see the various 10Ks and 10Qs. So, for example, if I want to see the 2010 10K of a 3M company, I would click that. It would go off and process the download. This download is coming from a website, and when it's done, it'll show you the statement over here. You can read all about this in the textbook. So, for example, the chapter on SEC filings will tell you what is in every statement and what the filing requirements are and so on. This drop down over here shows you all of the information. You can see that the filing contains a large number of different statements with it. And you can select any one of them. So, for example, if I select the consolidated statement of income, which is what's shown here, you can see the net sales, the cost of sales, SG&A, R&D costs, and so on. The data collector that I mentioned before allows you to collect data not just for one company, but if, for example, if you were comparing sales for a group of companies, so I would simply say double-click net sales for 3M, and you see over here that has been stored for me. And now if I take another company, say Agilent Technology, so I'll search for it. AGIL is what it starts with. That's their statement of operations. And if I look at their net revenue, total net revenue, which is their equivalent of sales, I double click that, and now I have and now you can see that I have data for two different companies. So you can do it for any of the files and so on, and collect your own data set. When you have this data, you can move a row up or down. You can auto fit and so on, and then you can copy it. And once you copy it, you could launch, for example, an Excel spreadsheet and paste it in, and then the data is stored for you, and then you can do with it whatever you want. Okay, so that's the SEC viewer. Now let me show you quickly how you use the information. And so I'll select financial statement analysis and valuation. When you start, you have to pick a data set, either the textbook data set, which is the data set of all of the examples that are in the textbook, or you can download current FTS data set. This is the data set I mentioned before of about 1,500 or so companies. So let me do that. You can see it's bringing them in and processing it, analyzing the contents, and there we go. Let me make this a little bit smaller so it fits into the video screen over here. So you can see the main screen. The financial statement analysis part is in this tree at the very top. The textbook is to the right. And you can see the topics you can study here. We start with common size analysis. So if I pick a company like 3M, let me just stick with that, and I want to look at some of the major variables, it'll present it for you in this format. So for example, from the income statement, we're showing you the sales, the cost of goods sold, the gross margin, which is in green here, means it's computed by the program. These other fields are coming, the ones in with the blue background are coming directly from the statements. This is shown as a percentage of total assets. If I click on sales here, it'll show it to you percentage of sales. And then these are under the statement column are the raw values from the financial statements. So if you want to compare our data set to the raw values, I can bring up a pop-up viewer. Let me just make it a little bit smaller. I'll hide the right panel since I don't need the textbook right now. And this is our data comes from the latest 10K, which is the February 10K. And if I click on that, once it processes the download and gets the data, you will see this number of net sales is 26,662. That's exactly the number that's in our data set. The cost of sales is 13,831. That's exactly the data in our data set. Okay, so let me minimize the viewer for a second. So we start with common size analysis, and the big thing about doing a common size analysis is to get a feel for the data. Beyond understanding variables scaled on common dimension like assets or sales. One other feature is the subset of stocks. If you look at all of the stocks in our data set, you may not be interested in looking at all of them. So you can select a subset of stocks by clicking that, and a window comes up, and you can click individual stock and turn them in and on and off, but you can also do it, for example, by index. So let me just look at all of the stocks that are in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I will only select those stocks, unselect everything else, and click OK, and now you will see just these big stocks here in my dropdown. One reason for limiting that selection, by the way, you have to do that. You can type in a list of tickers. So if I wanted to look at Walmart, Target, Amazon, I can just type in those tickers and click Accept Tickers. Oops, Target, sorry, comma, Amazon, Walmart, comma, nope, Walmart, sorry, Okay, let me just not do any typos. So I typed in Walmart, Target, and Amazon, and I click Accept Tickers, and now my drop-down has only these three stocks in it. One button that's very useful is this one called Calculate for All. If you calculate for all, it will calculate whatever's in this particular analysis that you're conducting for all of the stocks in your subset. In my case, I have 3 stocks, and so you can see it tells you the industry and the sector and the SIC code, and you can see we're scaling everything by sales over here. It's common size analysis, sales on the top, and then it has all of this data. You can plot these things. So if I plot sales, you will see the plots of the 3 companies. So this can be very useful. You have, say, 30 or 50 companies. You can compare their net incomes visually, and of course you can copy and paste a picture, and any table list that you have under the edit menu you can export to Excel. So this will do is pop up an Excel spreadsheet with this data in it, and so you can save it and use it for other purposes or other type of analysis. That's common size analysis. Following that, we move on to financial statement analysis, and we divide it into 2 parts: business ratios and price ratios. In the business ratios, we start with fundamental growth, and so this is telling you how all of these numbers are computed and the textbook has the context for the specific calculation. We move on to the DuPont decomposition, then profitability, asset turnover, and then finally on to activity analysis. In the price ratios, we go through the various types of price, the major ratios. We have a section on quality of earnings, the ultimate model for a going concern, and then the second half of the evaluation tutor has to do with valuation models for calculating intrinsic value. And as you can see, we cover the 4 basic ones: the dividend and free cash flow model, the residual income and abnormal earning gross model, and an option-based pricing model for a distressed firm based on Merton's model. You can do all of these calculations for using and compare firms using our data. even better, you can always look at the viewer and compare our data to what you have, what is actually in the financial statement. So you have a step-by-step guide. In fact, in one of the chapters of the textbook, we have a detailed reconciliation of every single number that appears on the screen, going from the financial statements, and many of the exercises that are in the chapters are really based on extending something that we work out for one statement at one time of year for some company, and just basically try and see if you can extend the analysis to another time. So it's very, very experiential learning. It's very much learning by doing. If you would like more details, please contact us at valuationtutor.com. We will be happy to give you a more detailed webinar and take you through all of the features and so on. Thank you very much.